I did my student teaching at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, and so that was my very first in-classroom experience. And while I was there, that was the year that Columbine happened. And so my entire career has been a career in the world of school shootings and school violence. And one of the things that I've learned is, first of all, there is no one answer to this. It's an incredibly complex issue. But I think something schools can do is to do more with mental health services and school nurses and school social workers. Unfortunately, we in the school system are overburdened with the sheer number of students who need those services. But what we found is that when those services are offered in schools, they are far more likely to be used. And so I would like to see schools become a hub of services, community services that are offered all over our community, but that could be centralized in schools. And so things like mental health services or school nurse programs, we often see that we'll have one school nurse now for 3 or 4 schools. And so what ends up happening for that social worker or that mental health professional is they might have a list of 300 students who need services, and they can only reach out to the most extreme, most dire cases. And so many kids get, very isolated. They get pushed aside. If we could build smaller schools that are able to offer services more directly and know students better. One of the things I say in my letter is that we know smaller schools work academically. Every piece of research shows smaller schools work for test scores. But what they also do is allow kids to be more involved in their school. When you have a school like the one I taught in Florida that was over 4,000, if you want to try out for the soccer team, there's 200 kids who try out for the soccer team. And so very few kids can be involved in their school. And what we know about kids who are involved in their school is, first of all, they're more likely to have adults in their lives who are watching out for them, who care for them, who talk to them every day, who can notice changes in them or changes in their family. And so those kids have a support system built in because they're involved. And that happens more often in smaller schools. But that, like I said, the issue of society is that we are segregating ourselves in communities. And so it would be an absolute, it would be terrible if with smaller schools, we retreat to be more segregated as well. And so that's a difficult balancing act. But we could start with better and more mental health services, which every teacher I talk to is crying out for those services.